Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of The Frequency Effect. I'm your host, Dr. Paula Apro, and today I am joined by Casey Conrad, a wellness entrepreneur, author, and international speaker with nearly 4 decades of experience helping people to improve their health and their lives. She has spoken in 24 countries, written more than a dozen books, and has built a global wellness company. In recent years, Casey has become deeply involved in the world of frequency-based medicine, which is our world here, the Frequency Effect. And now she operates a private wellness studio in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. Welcome, Casey. I'm so excited to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And I want to just explain, now Casey's really known internationally as a business coach, and she has created and sold, I think, at least 3 different wellness companies, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk very specifically today about this world of frequency medicine and more specifically the term quantum biofeedback. Now, most people don't know what the heck, as you say in all your classes, nobody knows what biofeedback is, so don't even mention it. And here I am making a whole podcast about it, because it has been my passion for the past probably 4 or 5 years to spread the word about quantum biofeedback, what it is, how it's helping, and why it's so important. And I just personally feel that the more we can spread this message, the healthier and happier the world might be. So, full disclosure here, I'm taking a course with Casey, and she is specifically trying to help practitioners like me get the word out. And what I've learned so far is that it is a limiting belief that it's too difficult to explain this technology to people. So Casey, please enlighten me. How do you get the word out and get so many clients coming to see you and helping them? What's your secret?
Well, I think first secret is you've got to want to care and help people, right? I really believe that nothing happens by chance. I think you're put here in this world to serve a purpose, to serve a mission, to serve mankind, to make the world a better place. You're not just plopped down here to suffer and pay a mortgage and a car payment. So, my belief system starts out with, I'm here to help people. Now, that being said, there are lots of people who I'm not going to be able to help because they are rooted in allopathic medicine, right? My dad was a surgeon. My mom was a nurse. I'm an attorney. And so, like, talk about being in boxes, right? But what I find is that when I start having a conversation with someone, and we're just going to start really very generically, organically, I'm in the line at the store and I see somebody's got a cast or a sling or a crutch. I said, bummer, man, and what happened and this and that. And, you start to get a sense of maybe what their belief system is. So I guess my first lesson is that if somebody doesn't resonate or start to be curious when I ask them questions about, what are you doing for recovery? Oh, well, my doctor has given me, 6 months of XYZ medication. Great. You doing any lifestyle modifications? Oh, no, okay, I'm not even going to talk to this person, right?
Yeah.
I might say, have you ever thought about alternatives? And, someone that's already open to the world of alternatives will say, oh, absolutely, I'm using essential oils, or I'm using herbs, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, right? So the first thing is that you really have to listen. Number one, you have to be of the mindset that you're there to help, you're there to serve. You're not going to help everybody because you want to, number two, attract people that are open to an alternative mindset. Okay. Now, once you've determined that somebody has an open mindset, I personally, Paula, like to use analogies when I'm working with people. One of the first questions I ask them is, have you ever heard of Nikola Tesla? Anybody that's in the energetic space or that's open to it, they'll go, oh, yes, frequency. Everything's about frequency, vibration, and energy if you want to know the mysteries of the world, right? So when that happens, there's automatically some rapport. And then you can ask the next question. Have you ever heard of biofeedback? A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, my son used that when he broke his arm and the plate wasn't healing, and they used some sort of unit bone, bone thing on his arm. And so, that's right. That's traditional biofeedback. And then I'll ask, have you ever heard of quantum biofeedback, frequency medicine? And again, so I'm not just dumping on someone, hey, have you ever heard of frequency medicine, right? No. So now if they say, no, what is that? Then I usually say, well, let me ask you a question, Paula. Is there a particular song that when you listen to it, it's like you want to just like go do stuff, clean the house, remind you of something, high school track meet, right? We are the champions, right?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Like I'm back there.
Yeah.
Joyful.
Have you ever had a song that the minute you heard it, it triggered deep emotional sorrow?
Pain. Yes, absolutely.
That's frequency.
Oh, I love this, Casey. I've never heard anybody use this analogy. Oh, I hope everybody is listening. Listen up, people. This is brilliant.
It's sound. That is sound.
And our bodies respond to certain sounds.
That's right.
And we're all different. And we all have a unique sound.
That's right. Yes. Now I want you to imagine. Close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you are at the most magnificent orchestra. Maybe it's, Yanni at the Ruins, or maybe it's at the New York Symphony. And just like, how does that make you feel when you hear that full, beautiful, all of the instruments? Like, right? You open your eyes and you say, how does that make you feel?
Like all your cells are dancing.
Right.
When your body feels the music. Yeah.
Now I want you to imagine that your 7-year-old just started clarinet lessons. And then they're in the other room. And you go, oh, that's wonderful. Right? And you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I need a set of earplugs. This is horrible. Or someone sits down and starts banging on a piano. Or someone's playing a piano and then all of a sudden they hit a wrong note. That is what frequency medicine is all about. It's using both light and sound, in our instances, sound, to create a vibrational frequency that is either going to make us feel better or something that makes us feel worse. So that is what biofeedback is when we're talking about frequency medicine. Okay?
I love it.
Now, how do you explain the quantum side of it?
Ooh, now we're getting into the good stuff. Like you say in your class, buckle up your seatbelt. Here we go.
Okay? So we are human beings, and we are made up of organs. Our organs are made up of tissues. Our tissues are made up of cells. And our cells are made up of what?
Energy.
Atoms, to be very specific. Oh. Atoms, which are energy, right? But they're atoms, right? Now, guess what? There are atoms right here. I can't feel them because they are energy, but there are atoms. Atoms fill up the entire interstitial space is what we call it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are atoms right here that are filling up this entire room, that are filling up this entire space, then you and I are actually connected.
Quantum entanglement, right?
Quantum entanglement. And I say to people, have you ever had a feeling, especially if you're a mother? And I typically find myself explaining this to women. Men, generally speaking, aren't that interested in this. Now, that's a gross generalization, but they get interested in it when they have a problem and they need you to run them to feel better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Not emotionally, but physically, usually. Gross generalization. I'm not saying that there aren't guys that aren't interested in this, but generally speaking, they're the hunter-gatherers, you know. I mean, they're the hunters, we're the gatherers, so we have more of the connection. But I'll say to a woman, have you ever had a sense that something was wrong with one of your kids? Just a sense, like an inner sense. And you picked up the phone and they said, how did you know?
Mm.
That's energy crossing over this quantum field. And there are many, gives me goosebumps in, 90 degrees. There are many instances where a mother will all of a sudden go, something bad has just happened. And one of their kids got killed in a fatal accident. And it was like the minute it happened, not only because are you connected with that child on the quantum field, but you're connected cellularly with that. You brought that child into this world. And so when I'm trying to explain what quantum biofeedback is, these are the two things. I start with the music because everyone can understand music. It's the perfect analogy.
Right.
And then I can move more over into, if they ask me about, well, how can it be done remotely? Right? Now, it's a little bit easier in our instance because with the quantum capsule, or specifically the quantum capsule, the person's listening to the tone.
Right. Exactly.
You and I both know that I can send someone frequency over the airways as long as I have their permission, and it will impact them. That is a conversation that I only have with people that are curious about it.
Yeah. I wonder if you could use the analogy of, say, Bluetooth. There's no wires with Bluetooth, and I don't know a single person that understands the magic of how does that happen? How could I send you a video or anything from the other room and but we don't need to know how it works in order for us to accept that it works and use it. So maybe that's a good analogy too, that
absolutely.
you use it.
I mean, look at elephants.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, elephants can communicate thousands of miles away. Whales,
that's
thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
All through a wave that you and I cannot hear. It is energy that is being transported. I can't remember what the gentleman's name, and I think it was in Africa. He raised and rehabilitated elephants. And when he died, the elephants came from miles away to mourn him.
Wow. Oh, you're giving me goosebumps.
I mean, it gets me teary to think about it. They didn't know, but they knew energetic, right? And I mean, there's a documentary on it. It's incredible. I mean, all these elephants came, when he died. I mean, so it's hard for us to even grasp. But when you think about it, the things that we're doing today were the Jetsons when we were kids.
Yeah.
Star Trek. And all of those things are reality right? I mean, the Jetsons, remember, they had the screens and they were talking to one another. I mean, that was the 1960s and 70s. We didn't get YouTube video until what, 2001 or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a colleague of mine used to say this in another business. Look, I don't know how brown cows eat green grass and make white milk, but it does.
It does. Just
Right?
accept it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So,
another thing that you mentioned in your class today was about AI and how you originally were opposing it. You know, you just didn't trust it and didn't believe it and didn't want to use it. And then you have since changed your mind. And I think that this type of technology as business may be, you know, it's so in the early stages, but there's no question. I mean, I personally, in my practice, I say the medicine of the future is here today, you know, because both Einstein and Nikola Tesla both alluded to the future medicine would be using frequencies. And we are living the Jetsons now. We're living Star Trek now. So people need to understand that. We also are living what Einstein and Tesla both predicted. And it's here now. And if, you know, if people want to be where you were 2 years ago with AI, oh, that's crazy woo-woo stuff. That's fine, but it's their loss. And I guess what you're trying to say to me also is you don't try to convert people.
you know, look, there are plenty of people that are waiting. There are people today that are praying for a miracle to enter their life. And frequency medicine might be it. I have them here. It happens all the time. I don't do a single advertising. It is 100% word of mouth here.
Wow.
And people come to me and say, somebody told me about you. And I said, it's not me. It's the modalities, right? I'm just the conduit. I'm just the person that is here to connect you to the modalities. It's your body that does the healing. But yeah, I don't try to convince people. You know, we're all at different places in our spiritual unfoldment.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not worth it. If they're not ready for it, that's where they are spiritually in their development, and their soul is here to have that human experience in this lifetime. And if that means pain and suffering, because a lot of people are totally connected to their pain and suffering, that's their identity, and they don't want to get rid of it. And nothing that we say or do is going to help them do that.
Right. I agree 100%. I wonder if you can share with us a story. You know, you have all these miracles that have happened and all these happy clients. Would you mind sharing a recent one or your favorite one of the potentials? Because people love stories. They love to hear somebody had XYZ. This is what they did and this is what happened. It would be wonderful if you can share one.
Well, I mean, there's a couple that come to mind right away. Recently, I had a woman that came here, and I've known her for 30 years in the fitness industry, and we had been colleagues. I had trained her, so I knew her, but it's like I didn't know her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Her number was in my phone, but it wasn't like I knew anything about her other than from the business side. Anyway, she had a tragic loss in her life of her partner, and she was still mourning his loss and had been for a while, just stuck, paralyzed in life, unable to, because, all your plans, all your dreams, just poof, gone, like instantly, totally on an unexpected freak accident. And we put her in the healing center, and I was doing several modalities on her, of course, the biofeedback, and we were using the beamer, and we had the EE system going. But within a couple of minutes of being enveloped in those good vibes, she took this deep breath, and she was like, oh my God.
Goosebumps again.
I haven't been able to take a deep breath. It felt like an elephant just got off my chest. And it was literally that heaviness on her heart, right? I mean, it was both it was a physical manifestation of a spiritual, emotional, pain that she was experiencing, which the two are inextricably linked. All feelings lead to dis-ease states or positive states, right? So that was really, really powerful. And that was kind of an acute thing, right? It just happened, and it was so powerful in that moment. The other one is a young lady that has been coming here again, totally found me by just the grace of God that somebody referred her. She put a post up, this mother put a post up on Facebook saying, hey, her daughter had gone into the emergency room because she was having some female pains and had a history of, ovarian issues, young, 26 at the time. Anyway, they gave her morphine and penicillin intravenously, and she coded right there.
Wow.
Flatlined. They defibrillated her. They brought her back. She ended up being in a coma for like 28 days. And then in a rehab center for another, 60 days, whatever it was. And then when they got done with that, there's nothing else we can do. And she completely had zero memory, didn't know who her parents were, completely, totally gone. And so the mother had posted something on Facebook just saying, hey, prayers. And somebody that had been here to my center, knew of us, went to school with the other daughter, and called her and said, hey, I don't know if this is anything, but here you go. So they show up, and they are, they're people from Chicago, total allopathic, right? The doctor said this, not that they weren't open to it, but had zero experience with frequency. And, the first thing I did was something very, put her in a foot bath with some microcurrent and just really put her on the beamer, did biofeedback, right? So just nothing too woo-woo, kind of mainstream, so physical things. That okay, that's a physical thing, right? Anyway, well, she's been on a quantum capsule now for probably a year, listens to it 2 or 3 times a day, but now she's working part-time at the local store, doing orders and cashier. Her memory is slowly coming back. She knows who her parents are, and she has some good days and, better days and not as good days, but the hope, and it's been a year, been coming here for actually over a year now. But there's an example that the mainstream had zero solutions now. It was just like, well, go ahead home. And now recently she just had her wisdom teeth out, and the mother was freaking out because, of course, what's the first thing they wanted to do? Put her under. And she's like, there's no friggin' way this kid's going on antibiotics. I don't care what it is. Anyway, so we used the various modalities here, looked at the biofeedback, checked, infection disturbances. We used essential oil capsules. We used topical stuff. We used, the whole thing, and came through with flying colors. Literally took I think 2 days of something like Advil or something. That was it. After having 4 wisdom teeth extracted. No swelling, came right here after, literally came here from the dentist. We did all the stuff, so it's just, it is a gift to be able to serve and to help people and give people hope. And that's really what we do. We give people hope.
Yes. And that's, I'm hoping, is going to be the message from this episode, that people are going to be exposed to your stories, that they never heard anything like this before. And that's exactly what we can do, is give them hope. And your stories also was a good example of both cases. In some cases, there are chronic, very deep, very difficult to move things that people, a lot of people have a mindset of, I want a magical fix. I want a quick fix. I want a pill and I want you to fix me. But it shows that you do need to have some dedication here. If it took you half your life or almost all your life to get into a chronic position, people have to understand that you have to give it a chance, and it may take a long time, as opposed to the other side, when something is acute and it happens right away. If you can get yourself onto quantum biofeedback, then chances are we can knock it out very quickly. But people need to understand that if it's chronic, it could be time, but
Well, and look, I say to people, look, how long has that been a problem?
Right.
How long is it 5 years? I said, okay. And it's going to take 5 years to bring it back to normal. You got to go back to the keyhole. Now, if it happens faster, great. But I'm going to tell you right now, do you think it's going to get any better if you keep doing what you're doing? Yes or no? Right? So I'm so blunt with people. And sometimes I'm too blunt with people, but I've gotten to a stage in my life where I have very low tolerance. I'm like, okay, fine, then go suffer. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's the human experience you want in this lifetime. Go for it.
Right.
That's not what I want.
And honestly, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I know I would appreciate that. You don't want to be told BS just to appease somebody. You want the truth. You want to know, realistic expectations.
Yep.
So I think it's great that you're like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up? Any other things that we can say that might bring some hope or curiosity to people that may have never heard about this before?
I think that the most important thing is just finding people that are open-minded. Are you open-minded, or are you open-minded skeptic, or are you just a skeptic, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't mind people that are open-minded skeptics, right? But if someone's just a pure skeptic, then you're probably not going to have a lot of success. And again, just don't try to convince people, educate them, And I always say this to people: how's what you're doing working?
If it was working, they wouldn't be there looking for help.
Has your doctor given you an exit plan for those 5 medications, or are you going to be on them the rest of your life?
Great question.
And that's great. Look, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. My question is, did it start out with 5 or did it start out with 1?
Right. And then you have to take the second one because of the side effects from the first one, right?
And there's a balance there, right? Because I'm not trying to override modern medicine, because we are so fortunate. We live in a country here in the United States of America where if I am sick, if I get in an accident, get me to the nearest hospital as quickly as possible. My dad saved hundreds and thousands of lives in his 40 plus years as a surgeon. And that is amazing what we can do. But then get me out of there as quickly as possible so that I don't get MRSA and die in the hospital recovering. Get me back to natural. People feel good when they're out in nature, in sunlight, breathing fresh air. And that's a natural frequency. And what we can immerse ourselves in naturally, we can support ourselves with through frequency modalities like the Genius Biofeedback.
Well, I don't think there's anything more to say after that. After that closer, I mean, that really brought it home. So I can't thank you enough for your time, Casey. I know you're super, super busy, and I really appreciate your time here. And I very much am appreciating the class you're taking. And hopefully I'll be picking up more tips that I can use in future podcasts to really spread the word some more. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to serve.
Great. Take care.